I'm about to tell you guys a story that proves beyond any doubt that congressional Democrats are special needs. The head of the DCCC, a lot of C's in the DCCC, which I think stands for the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. I believe that's what it stands for. Steve Israel, who's responsible for the Democratic strategy and election losses, well, he released a statement that's above and beyond thick-headed. He said this about the losses that he was responsible for and his group was responsible for. Quote, "We fell short. On the whole, though, I think that when bombs were bursting in air and we were in the trenches, we fundamentally made the right decisions, as tough as they were. It's hard to talk about refinancing college debt when people are being just saturated with news about how Ebola would sweep the country." He thinks that he did a good job. He thinks that the Democratic strategy was the right strategy. But how can you think that? How can you think that unless you're an idiot? I mean, it was empirically tested. You want to know how you know you would do a good job? If you won. If you won, you did a good job. If you lost, you did a bad job. If you get your ass handed to you on a silver platter with Ronald Reagan's face on it, which is exactly what happened, then you did a really, really shitty job. But he's like, no, we stand by our decisions. But what does that even mean? What does that mean, you stand by your decisions? That's like an NBA team does the worst in the entire NBA, and then at the end of the season, they release a statement, and they're like, you know, when push came to shove, we had a good strategy and a good team. Then why were you last? Then why did you suck? By what measure are you saying you did well? The measure inside your head in this fantasy land that you absolutely made up as you played Dungeons and Dragons? I mean, it doesn't... this isn't landing. That's not connecting. You're just saying words and they have no meaning. What do you mean you did a good job? And then also, the latter part of the statement lets me know that he was aware of the shitty job the media was doing. So the Democrats and the people who came up with this strategy, they were looking at the media situation going, you know, these guys really are being sensationalistic, and they're nonstop covering ISIS, and they're nonstop covering Ebola, and it's all this garbage that they're spewing out there. But, so you knew that, why didn't you correct them? See, the Democrats always act like they're passive observers of the situation. Like they're not partaking in the situation. Like they're just watching, oh, look at the Republicans just said that. That was an interesting strategy. Oh, look, the media is doing a bad job. That's weird. Let's sit here and watch as this unfolds. No, you're in the driver's seat. You're in the driver's seat. Hello, you had a majority in the Senate. You have the biggest bully pulpit in the country with the president. And you're half of the equation in the political race. It's Republicans versus you, the Democrats. So you can go out there in the media and talk to the media about the current situation in America. You can refocus the reality of the situation. He's like, wow, the media is fear-mongering over Ebola, and they're not talking about, like, the unemployment rate. So why don't you go out there and talk about the unemployment rate? Why don't you go out there and say, hey, when Bush was in office, it was about 10%. We were losing 700,000 to 800,000 jobs a month, and then Obama came in, and lo and behold, we've had nothing but private sector job growth, over 8 million jobs created, and unemployment is down to 5.8%. You could have made that argument. You could have made the argument that 67,000 people had pre-existing conditions, they couldn't get coverage, now they can. You could have made the argument that 105 million Americans had a lifetime cap with their health insurance policy, now they don't. But you didn't make the argument. You just sat there and watched as the media did a shitty job and the Republicans ran roughshod over you. You ran away from your progressive values, and you ran away from the president too, and you acted like you were Republican light. And then you turn around at the end of it all and you say, you know, I think that was successful. I think we did a good job. Do you think that the Democrats are not going to make the same mistake? I told you the day after the election when I gave my long spiel about how the Democrats could have won and I gave them the proper strategy. do you think they're going to listen? There's no chance of it. See, that's the thing that's so maddening about the Democrats, is they're social retards. They don't know how to do PR. They don't know how to do marketing. They don't know how to sell themselves. And they clearly fail with the strategy of be right-wingers. Run to the right, distance yourself from progressive policies and Obama. They clearly fail in that, and then they're like, well, I guess we should have ran further to the right.